Right. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the Mental Health Webinar Series 2020 and 2021. Today we are in 479th session. Today we are going to see the topic called Emotional Intelligence for Happy and Content Child by the resource person Sri Kuti. She already covered a couple of sessions in our webinar series, and I would like to give you some intro for the new people. She is a counseling psychologist. She was working in GL Hospital, Salem, as a counseling psychologist. And earlier that she was working as a trainer, counseling psychologist in Soda Engineering College. And right now she is individually practicing, and she is specialized in emotional intelligence, stress, depression counseling, and lot. I would like to welcome today's resource person and all the participants and all the senior persons in this forum. On behalf of American College Madurai, MS Chellamuthi Institute Madurai, and the Madras School of Social Work Chennai, and Red Pond Educational Psychological Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, and Tamil Nadu Career Counseling Association, Tamil Nadu Counseling and Psychotherapy Association, and STEPS Foundation. With this kind note, I would like to welcome today's resource person. Welcome you, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the welcome. Hi, everyone. Good evening and warm welcome to the webinar. So before I begin, I would like to I'd like to apologize. Why? Because day before yesterday, I conducted a webinar on self-compassion, and I'm very sorry that you have to see me again today in a short span. It was my mistake because when I was entering the topics, I got confused. I entered very nearby dates. So I'm really sorry because many of them are there who was there in my previous session. So I'm very sorry that you have to see me repeatedly in short span. Okay. Moving on to today's topic. All are the best parents when everything is happy around them. But when things start falling, when there is a negative environment or when there are problems, we become monster moms and dads. I believe that parenting is an evolutionary process. We evolve. So today, in this webinar, I'll be presenting my opinions or I'll be presenting ideas that are based on my experience growing with a 7-year-old boy and researches in psychology. So there can be some contradictory informations, or sometimes there can be disagreements. I respect everyone's perspective, and if you believe that your parenting strategies are the best, go ahead with that. And if you think that you can evaluate further, then also I'm happy. So please be non-judgmental in this process with me, because it is more of my experience along with psychological research. So let's begin with an experience in my life, which was a driving force for me to get into the world of emotional intelligence. So this happened in 2020. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. You can go.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the response. So this happened in 2020. As I have told before also in this webinar series, 2020 was a very difficult year for me. So it happened in an evening. I was over a phone call where I was discussing some stressful events in my life with someone else. So we were having an argument, I guess. So my son was sitting near to me, and I was asking him to write the homework. I was over the call, and I was also asking him you write this, you write that. So I was giving instructions to my son. The call was there for some 30 minutes. I dropped the call. When I looked into my son's book, it was a blank sheet. I lost my temper. I yelled at him. I screamed at him. I shouted that, why are you like this? Can't you be like me? I was a very responsible child at your age. You're 6.5 years. And I told him that I have a lot of problems. I don't want you to become a problem to me. And I told him, I want to go out of this house. I want to go out from you, everyone. You people are making me mad. I screamed, I yelled. There was a ruler on the table. I took it and I beat my son also. A moment. I don't know what happened to me. I just went and hugged my son. there was some silence between both of us. Both of us didn't talk. I told my son, I'm really sorry, Sidhu. You're the best son anyone can get. Whenever I'm sad, you always come and hug me. Whenever I have a problem, you don't know what is the problem, but you always tell me that, Amma, everything will be fine. You have a lot of good things. And what happened today was Amma lost the ability to control the emotion. I promise you that this will never happen in our life. My 6.5-year son, he didn't talk anything. He was just hugging me. He hugged me a little more tight. Looking at his face that day, I decided my emotional vulnerability should never affect my son. And my emotional vulnerability should never affect anyone around me. The same day, I decided that my son's emotional vulnerability should also never affect anyone. The situation that I had in my life should never come to my son. That was the day. It was a really turning point in my life. That was the day I decided I need to look into emotional intelligence. Do you know one thing? Surprising thing is, like, emotional intelligence was not new concept for me at that point of time. In my master's dissertation, one of the component was emotional intelligence. I had a tool in my hand and I didn't measure emotional intelligence that time. Maybe my priority was passing out of my college and to get a job. Everything has the right time. So 2020 was the right time and it was the right moment, maybe, for me to explore emotional intelligence. Coming to psychology, emotional intelligence, the term was coined by Peter Salovey and John Mayer in 1990. And after that, in 1990 itself, Daniel Goldman published his first book on emotional intelligence. So before coming to know about this, my knowledge that Daniel Goldman is the person who introduced emotional intelligence to psychology, but it was Peter Salovey and John Mayer. And before that also, I think that Thorndike has talked about social intelligence, and even Gardner has talked about multiple intelligence. So there was concepts like that before also, but the term was coined by Peter Salovey and John Mayer. But as a country like India, we have a rich culture of emotional intelligence because our Vedas, scripts, and Upanishads has mentioned about emotional intelligence. So it is not a new concept for every one of us because it was always there in our culture. What is emotional intelligence? Anyone have an idea, or like, do you want to contribute to what do you know about emotional intelligence? Do anyone want to, wish to? You can just chat. Okay, that is fine. Or can I move with that? Okay. So, am I audible to you? Like, I'm not getting any much response. So, may I know that am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes.
Okay.
So, to my understanding,
Yeah, tell me, Muthu sir.
emotional intelligence is knowing about oneself and knowing about others' thoughts and feelings. Like, when I will be losing my temper, or how I manage my emotions, etc. And knowing about others, managing about others' emotions also. This is what is my little understanding.
Oh, it is a great understanding. Thank you, sir. And Abhijit also has
For
given.
me, emotional intelligence is a balancing your emotions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
understanding others' emotions. And rather than carried away, you balance between your brain and a heart. That
Okay.
is, for me, it is emotional intelligence.
Okay, aware of what emotions Vishal has told. Okay, all these are very true, and now my anxiety boosts up again because everyone knows about that, and I don't know what I'm going to tell about that. Okay, so in my understanding, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, or like more understand our emotions, others' emotions. It's the ability to regulate one's emotion and use emotional intelligence to guide thinking and behavior. So Daniel Goldman has given 4 components related to emotional intelligence. Excuse me all, I have a PPT with me. I'll be sharing you the PPT in this like webinar group that we have because my laptop is not working, so I can't show both the screens. That's why I decided to go with my face. I'm sorry for that. Definitely I'll share the PPT. Okay, so don't worry about the contents. I have all the contents in the PPT and it will safely reach your hands through that WhatsApp group. Okay, let's talk about the four components of emotional intelligence given by Daniel Goldman. First one is self-awareness. It is awareness about one's emotions and awareness about one's actions on others. That is self-awareness. Second one is called self-management. It is the ability to regulate one's emotions. And the third thing is empathy, ability to understand others' emotion. And the fourth one is social skills, that is the ability to form relationship, to develop understanding between people. That comes under social intelligence. And the last one is intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is something that is not driven by money, fame, or material things. It is something that is driven by something inside. I'll tell an example of intrinsic motivation. Like what I think is that I conduct a lot of webinars, even though there is financial benefit at sometimes, some places, but I believe that I have an intense drive that everyone should know the concept of psychology and everyone should have a happy life or a stable state of life. That's an internal motivation. Even though someone is not paying me, or even I get a client and he tells me that he don't have money, sometimes I feel like it's okay. So that is an intrinsic motivation. So if you want to be emotionally intelligent, the easy way and the difficult way is to excel on these four areas. That is self-awareness, self-management, social skills, empathy, and intrinsic motivation. That would be an easy way. I know that it is one of the difficult way too. So this is my understanding about emotional intelligence. It is like understanding our emotions and regulating our emotions. Moving on. The topic for today was emotional intelligence for happy and content child. So let's see how emotional intelligence can help our children. Okay, like any contributions related to that? What do you think? Like how emotional intelligence can help our children? Anyone? Do you want to share? Like you can chat if you want. Yeah. Tell me, Abhi.
The thing is, understanding the different emotions. When we are young, right, we don't know the difference between uh, the various emotions. Happiness can be described in various forms. Knowing the little difference between each of the emotion, it really helps to better communication, convey one's ideas, convey one's thoughts. It helps in regulation too. I feel it helps in regulation. Identification helps in regulation. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I go with you, Abhi. Okay, first we will have to teach our children. Yeah. Many one are commenting. So, okay, let me go. So emotional intelligence is very important for our children because it helps them to be aware about what is going inside. It helps them to manage their emotions. It helps them to show their empathy. It results in improved academic performances, low problematic behavior, then better impulse control. They'll be able to control their impulses in a better way, better relationships. And finally, I think the most important thing that we need in the present world is better resilience to situations in our life, difficult situations in our life. That is something very important in our present day life. So telling about like how we can teach our children emotional intelligence. So before going to, I would like to talk about different parenting styles because I believe that we knowingly or unknowingly, we impart a lot of things to our children. So we would like to thank psychology. Like sometimes I used to get surprised when I read some books, like how these people are thinking these diverse concepts. So after a lot years of research, we would like to thank Dr. Goldman. He has framed four types of parenting or four types of parents. And the first parent is like dismissing parent. A dismissing parent is a parent who ignores or minimizes the negative emotions of the child. Like they will do that. If the child is crying, they will make fun of the child, like, oh, when you cry you look so cute. or you look so funny when you cry, or they will tickle the child. They just want these negative emotions to go. They don't look into why the child is crying. They will dismiss or ignore the emotions of the child. What happens with a dismissing parent? The thing that happens with the dismissing parent is the child believes that these negative emotions are unwanted, or they don't have any value. Sometimes they suppress that, and they don't learn to regulate their emotions. So when we become a dismissing parent, what happens to our children is like they don't understand the value of negative emotions. They feel that the negative emotions or feelings are really unwanted and inappropriate, and so they just avoid that. And the next type is like disapproving parent. A disapproving parent also does somewhat similar to this. What they do is like they also minimizes or ignores the negative emotions in a very judging and criticizing manner. Like they will be asking that, what is there to cry right now? Are you becoming a drama cube? Look at the other people, they don't cry. Look at the other children around you, they don't cry. So this will be the way what a discriminative parent will do. They just discriminate it. They just dismiss or ignores it the same way as like of a dismissing parent. But what happens here is like they does in a very judging and criticizing way. Here also what happens is like children think that it is not an appropriate behavior or an appropriate emotion, and they don't exhibit it, or like they don't know how to manage that emotions, and they feel that they have some problem inherently, they have some problem because of that they are becoming like this. Children believe that way, and they don't learn to regulate their emotions also. When it comes to laissez-faire parent, it is a third type of parent, laissez-faire parent. What a laissez-faire parent does is like a laissez-faire parent knows that every emotions are important, but it is kind of a free parenting. They don't set any limits for the child. Like if a child cries, they'll just allow the child to do whatever they want, whatever he or she wants. No comments. They understand that emotions are very important, and maybe they will be a little empathetic towards the child, and they will allow. For example, like if you are taking your, for example, we will have an example like a child is playing in the park, and the mother is waiting for the child. If the mother tells the child that it's time for us to go, let's go, then the child again tells her, no, Amma, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. If the child starts showing any tantrums or anything, then the laissez-faire mother will tell that, okay, go and play for another 15 minutes. So they don't set limits for the child. They understand the child's emotions, but they don't set limits. What happens here? The child never learns how to regulate the emotions. It will have in future, he will have difficulty in establishing relationship, getting along with other children, because he never did any adjust, like anywhere he didn't manage his emotions. He was given everything. Coming to the fourth type of parent, that is the emotion coach parent. Emotion coach parent, they view negative emotions as an opportunity to establish intimacy. They teach their children to understand the emotion, label the emotion, how to manage the emotion, how to solve their problems. So in this type of parenting, the children trust their emotions. They understand that emotions are something very important for me. They learn to understand what is the emotion they are having, like labeling the emotion. They will be able to regulate their emotions, and they will be able to solve their problems. This can boost their self-esteem in the future, and this can help them into a better relationship that we want right now. So when I came to know about this 4 different type of parenting, like dismissive parenting, disappropriate parenting, and laissez-faire parenting, and emotion coach parent, I understood that I was a kind of a dismissive and laissez-faire parent. I was minimizing my son's negative emotions, and sometimes I used to allow him to do things so that he doesn't become like he don't show too much of tantrums, or like, okay, the situation is peaceful. Okay, may I know like if there are any parents out here, like can you evaluate like which strategy you were using, or which strategy your parents were using? Like can you like evaluate and If 2 or 3 shares their opinion, like it would be great. Yeah, someone like Mutaya said, like, can you share like which kind of parenting you experienced in your childhood, or like anyone? I don't know who is there here right now. Okay, anyone?
Can you please explain it again?
Yeah, it is dismissing parent, disappropriate parent, and lazy fire parent, and emotion coach. Yeah, someone told that it is lazy fire parenting. Okay, anyone else?
Sri,
Yeah,
Abhijit here.
yeah.
So my parents, they adopted the third strategy. I go with the first and the fourth strategy, a mix of 1 and 4.
Oh, that's great. I was also, I know, I was a mix of 1 and 3. Okay. So, yeah, most of us go with, I think most of us do this dismissive parenting, like whether our children. Yeah, someone wants to share. Yeah, tell me, ma'am. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me move. Yeah. Okay. So, so
Hi,
it is.
everyone. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Uh,
So it
just
is.
about to add, yeah, me and my wife, we usually do the good cop, bad cop. So we usually switch on the roles between these four. Most of the time, I'm the empathy coach, and yeah, sometimes I do the lazy five parent as well. I
Oh,
believe it needs to be a combination, at least so far from what I have seen from
okay.
my parenting as well as what have been brought up as well. I believe there needs to be a balance.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great insight. So I believe that most of us used to take this lazy fire or dismissive, like most of the times. It is an easy play to go with that. So when it comes to emotion coaching, there are 5 thumb rules for emotion coaching. First one is like understand what is the emotion that your child is going through. That is the first one. Be aware of the child's emotion. Second one is like take this as an opportunity to develop intimacy or trust with your child. All negative emotions, take that an opportunity. Third thing is like help them to verbally label their emotions. Because as Abhijit told before, for happiness, there are various things. Like it can be joy, it can be excitement. So there are various other emotions attached with that. So rather than telling that you're happy, help them to verbally label what are the different emotions. And the fourth component is like communicate empathy and compassion. And fifth thing, come to setting goals and problem solving. So these are the 5 thumb rules for emotion coaching. If you want to emotion coach your child, these are the 5 golden rules. One is like understand what is their emotion. Second is like take this as an opportunity. And the third thing is like help them to verbally label their emotion. That is the third thing. And the fourth thing is like compassion and empathy. And the fifth thing comes to setting goals and problem solving. Setting like not goals, setting limits and problem solving, that would help you to get into an emotion coach. So here I'm going to the next step where I am helping you with some of the strategies that I adopted to teach my child emotional intelligence, because I believe that children learn a lot of things from modeling. What we see, if amma is showing the emotions, my child learns that okay, this is the way to show emotions. So I was very like in Indian scenario, I know that it is very difficult for us to parent our children because our children are parented by many people around us. But let's hope that we can do what we can do. Like what is the best that I can do. So moving on, how to teach your children emotional intelligence. The first thing would be like helping them to labeling their emotions. As Abhijit told before, we should teach our children what are the different emotions. Rather than telling ourselves, are you sad, disappointed, like they're irritated, frustrated, you can have different emotions. So how we can teach our children emotion? It can be like one method which we can adopt is like when as a mother I can tell that I'm feeling angry right now because you're not doing the homework. So he come to know that amma is feeling angry. So he get a new emotion, that is anger. Amma is feeling so happy that we are going out today. So he gets another emotion, happiness. So when we communicate to our children, just make sure that we are using the emotion by name. Verbally, we are using it. And like, be careful that don't tell that Amma is angry. You are not angry. Like, don't label yourself, label the emotions. Amma is feeling angry. Maybe when your child is sad or disappointed, you can ask, are you feeling sad? I think that you're feeling sad. What's happening to you? So in that way, you can introduce emotions to them, like which they can understand verbally. Another thing that I would recommend is, like, you can make an emotion chart, which you can get in online. Like in the PPT, I'll be showing you that thing. So don't worry, everything will be there in the PPT. So there is an emotional chart. There can be different emotions from A to Z. And in the morning, you can ask your child, like, what emotions you are feeling right now. And you can ask your child, you can go to the next step. If it is smaller children, you can ask that, in your body, where are you feeling this emotion? Sometimes your child will say that I feel something in my tummy. So it helps them to understand that emotions are expressed through our body also. Okay. So when it is smaller children, you can ask them, like, where do you feel that thing? Like, if when your son says that I feel very sad or today was a bad day, then you can ask the next step. Where do you feel that? Can you show me? Can you show Amma that where you feel that emotion? So that's another way where we are teaching our children that emotions are expressed through our body too. We can see the manifestation on our body. And when you're watching a cartoon channel or anything, you can ask your child, okay, Sidhu, can you tell me, like, what is the emotion for that cartoon character? How they feel it? You can impart empathy also that time. I feel so sad seeing that. We should help him, right? And how it will be in that situation, we can ask them. So in this way, we can help them to understand, improve their vocabulary, like developing a vocabulary for them, an emotional vocabulary or emotion vocabulary, where you can provide them as much as emotions. It can be happen during exercises or any way it can be. So that is the first thing, helping them to label their emotions verbally, because we should know what what's happening in us. So next thing, I'm moving to the next process. It's validating the emotions. Validating is a great method here. We need to be present for validating our child. We need to physically be with them. Second thing is, we need to listen to them. I think that someone is mute, like audio is on mute. Is it possible? Like, I don't know, like sound is coming from me. It would be great if it is. Okay, so the second thing is like validating. In this, first thing is be present. Second thing is like listen to them. Third is reflect them. Reflect to them what it is. Reflecting what they are telling. Listen and reflecting back. Then next thing is being empathetical and being compassionate. I would give an example. Rather than, if when your son is crying, rather than telling that it is okay, after 5 minutes you'll be fine. Rather than telling that, sit with them. Just sit with them and just tell them that I understand what you're feeling. I totally get that what you're feeling, and this feeling is not that great. Even Amma has gone through that. When I was a small kid, when my mother takes cookies from my hand, or when my mother doesn't allow me to play, I even felt the same thing. I know it. I totally get you, baby. I know completely how you're feeling right now. So we are validating the emotions of our child, and our child knows that, yes, Amma is understanding me, so I don't need to show a lot of things to make her understand. Because when something is happening inside us, we do a lot of things to make others understand. If we tell our child that I know how it is, I know what's happening inside you, I know it is a very bad feeling, and we are not validating the behavior or what he does. Okay, we are validating the emotions. Be clear on that. We are validating the emotions, and we are not validating the person also. And we are not labeling our child. We are telling that I know that you're feeling. This feeling is very uncomfortable. This feeling is really difficult for you. I can understand that. I'm there with you. Just give some time for them to relax or come up with anything. Next step is like modeling and teaching coping strategies. So you can teach your child ahead what are the coping strategies. I'll share a coping strategy. It is called pizza breathing. And as we don't eat pizza, we framed as biryani breathing. Biryani breathing is simple. Just tell your son that a hot, warm biryani is in front of you. Just smell it and blow it out. Blow it out so that you can eat it. It is very warm and very hot. Do it for four, five times. You will be fine. So you need to teach these skills ahead, not the time when your son is showing the tantrums. Okay, you need to teach it very ahead. Like you can plan with your son that when you get angry, what are the things you can do it. You can plan it ahead. A coping skill strategy sheet. You can make it a sheet on that. And when you get stressed, you can do this. When you get very irritated with Amma, you can draw something. You can go out and play. You can go out and come after some time, or like this. Let's get involved in the process. Like they need to decide their life. Like I'm not telling them completely, but give them the power to take decisions. Like, okay, you have these many options. What do you want to do? Okay, if you're not getting something, let Amma suggest you something. So we can teach this breathing exercise. And there is another breathing technique called finger breathing. That is also very good. So I don't have much time to explain you. You can look on that finger breathing. It is very good for children. Then you can give them some dance breaks. So sit with them and come to a conclusion that at each emotion, what they can do, what they can plan ahead. Because I used to listen to my son, and he used to tell that, Amma, I can't control it. I feel to do like this. Then I tell him that it's okay. It is like that. Amma was also like that, but it took some time for Amma also. Like Amma tried it. Because we have a frontal part of our brain that is very impulsive, because your brain is growing only. It requires time to grow. Really, because I don't want you to tell science and all, but I used to tell my son little bit of science. He's 7-year-old. I used to tell him like, you have a drunken monkey brain in front of your head, and it is telling you that go against Amma, or do this thing, do this thing. So let us calm that monkey drunken brain. So you can frame a lot of coping strategies, and for your help, I would say that in Pinterest you can get a lot of ideas in that. Do check on that if you are if you want to be an emotion coach parent. Do check on that. Okay. Moving on. After this process, we are just going to the next step of setting limits. It should not end there. We need to set limits for their behavior, not for their emotions. Don't set limit for their emotions, for their behavior. Okay. And problem solve. With the setting limit, you need to problem solve. In problem solving, it is not you have to find a solution and you have to do all the things. Ask your children, what is the problem? Why you became sad? Or why you are becoming angry? Let's see, what is it? Then they will come with the problem. Like my son's, usually the fight between me and son used to be because of doing the homeworks. Then he will tell that I don't like doing homework. So that will be the problem. Like I don't like doing the homework. Then we will be exploring like, okay, what is the things that you can do? Like anyway, you have to do the homework. That is setting the limit. You have to do that. Okay, how we can solve this problem? So he came with solutions like I can do it all together and then I can go and play outside. Or else ask them to come with solutions, their solutions. If they are not able to find it, help them. The second solution my son told, this happened very recently. The second solution that my son told was, I will write half of the thing, then I'll go outside and then I'll play, then I'll come back and I'll write it half of in the evening. The third strategy, he told me that whenever I go outside and when I come back, I'll write each little by little. Then I told him like evaluate the pros and cons. What is the evidence or what is the success rate for your these solutions? Evaluate the pros and cons. So finally he told me that Amma, I'll do half in the morning, I'll do half in the evening. That would be great because the other two we both work together. And I used to tell him like, so do you think that each time you go outside and you come back, you will be in a mood to write things? Definitely you won't be. Like you will be in the mood to play only. So it will be very difficult for you. So just help them in the decision making process. Finally, he fixed that something he has to do, allowing him to do that, allowing him the right to decide things in his life in our limits. Like we have a control over them and allowing them. Because I feel that most of the problems that happens with this generation is they don't know how to solve the problems because no one taught them. No one took them, no one gave them a opportunity to solve their problems in their life or in their childhood days. Like no one told them. Like mother has a fixed solution and she just gives to the son. So just make our children involved in the problem solving. Make them know that how to set boundaries, how to say no, all these things. So about this emotion coaching, what I would say the next strategy is problem solving, helping them to problem solve. So these are the 4 methods which you can do when you are thinking for emotion coaching your child. First is helping them to label their emotions. Second thing is like validating their emotions. Validation is something everyone likes. Just think that you are having a problem and what you will look from your mother at that point of time. Do you look her to give advices for you? And with children, I would say that till 7 years, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. Their brain is not completely developed. It says that frontal lobes completely develops by the age of 20 to 25. Then also they are very impulsive. So I know that there are certain things in my control about my son, but there are certain things that are not at all in my control. I can say to my son only, I don't expect that he should obey all the things. I'll tell you, this parenting requires a lot of patience. Even today, I sat with my son for 30 minutes, just sat with my son and telling that I know it. Setting limits, I sat with my son. Like he wanted to do something, he wanted to watch something, and I was telling him, Sidhu, no, you can't watch it. And I was validating his emotion. I was telling that even Amma wants to watch that, but Amma's brain tells me that these are the consequences of that. And I sat with him for 30 minutes and I didn't allow him, but in a way that he loves me, in a way that he understands that, yes, Amma is telling the right. It is not that I didn't give any advices to him, we were working on with that. I just gave him some time to like calm down his emotions rather than me going and calming down him, asking him like what we can do, all these things. So this parenting requires a lot of patience. But I'll tell a story that happened. I'll end with this story. This happened like a few days back. I don't know whether you are aware. In Kerala, there were a lot of suicide cases happening. A lot of suicidal cases were happening in Kerala. And one day I was reading the newspaper and there was a lot of cases of like young boys committing suicide. And I asked my son, Sidhu, do you know why these, my son is 7-year-old. I asked him, do you know why these young boys are committing suicide? Then he told me that I know the answer. And I was like, how he knows the answer? And I asked him like, why? Then he told me that, Amma, they don't have an Amma like you who has solution for the problems, who won't scold me. They don't have an Amma. I told him that moment that everyone knows the solutions for their problem. But when you're very sad, when you're so depressed, your brain doesn't work. So your solutions won't come to you. When you talk to someone, you feel relaxed and they will help. The thing that I loved about this is like my son believes that Amma is someone who won't judge him, who won't criticize him. Amma is someone who will validate him, or Amma is someone who will understand him. That happened because of emotion coaching only. Because I don't know whether before my son would tell like this. Because we need to create a safe environment for our children where their emotions are validated, not their behavior. When they are fighting with their cousins, I tell my son that it is okay to get angry when something is not happening, but it is not okay to beat your cousin. We set limits. It is okay to show your emotions. It's okay to have your emotions, but it is not appropriate to have that behavior. So it is emotion coaching is a parenting coaching which requires a lot of time. But I guarantee you that initially it requires some 40 minutes or 30 minutes, but as it goes, it won't require any time. You can see how your children grows up and how your children helps us. Because now when I have bad emotions or something like that, my son comes and I can feel him tapping on my body. It's okay, mom. I can really feel my son tapping on my body and telling that it's okay. This is what happens when we try to coach our children on emotions. So yeah, from there, I wanted to end it with a very beautiful quote that a generation of loving and caring parents can change the brain of the next generation, and by that, the world. If you're so loving, caring, and compassionate to our children, definitely can change the brain structures of the brain. And it is given by Dr. Robinson, I guess. And with that, thank you. This was my opinion and some research from psychology. So I do agree that there will be a difference of opinion, and I respect that. Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Thank you. Yeah.
It's
Anyone have any-
beautiful, Sri Kuti. Participants, you can ask questions or you can type in chat box.
Yeah. Let me tell you, like I'm not that experienced doing. I'm also evolving parent, and I try each day different methods. I'll tell you, like recently there was a conversation like my son had with his friend, and that time I went and told him that okay, Sidhu is playing this all the time. I just mocked him. Then after a point, I realized that oh my god, it shouldn't be. I went to my son and I told him I'm sorry that I told like that. I'm really sorry. And that time he told me that it's okay. Again, it's okay, it's okay. You don't worry. He told me that you don't worry, it's okay. So we need to we learn each day. That is what an openness to learning. Like when there is a situation that you feel that it was wrong, just go and say sorry so that your son will also say sorry to you. He learns from us. Like Amma said sorry to me after doing a mistake, so I can also, I should also. It is not something we want them to do, but they learn. Okay. Any questions or anything? Okay, again, I will try answering according to my knowledge. Okay. Anything? Okay. I think all. No one has any doubt. If you have any doubt, also you can further. Maybe I plan to take another session on emotional intelligence, on like how parents can develop emotional intelligence so that they can be emotionally intelligent before their children. So I'm planning to do a session also on that. Okay, I would like to give the suggestions. Yeah, anyone?
Ma'am, it's me, Vishal Mukan. Shall I, sir, or Abhi, sir? You want? Okay. Ma'am, I just love your session, ma'am. You said 7-year-old kid for you. You know, I'm not asking any questions. I'm just sharing my experience with you. As you said, me and my son from that. அவன் பேச ஆரம்பிச்ச டைம்ல இருந்து when he starts to talk, from that time we shares everything. Before that also, while doing each and every work, I will share my opinions, share my things with him. uh, if he understand or not, that's not matter. That I always talk with him. So we both were emotionally connected. I'm not aware about that psychology and all that time. Now I'm studying, but I'm not aware of that. But what my understanding is, when a child ஒரு குழந்தை பிறக்கும்போது, each and every mom is also birth. They both were new. So if we think that our child is also new and we also a new mom, we both must travel together. If we are aware of that, each and every work we must learn by ourselves. So no need of any psychologists or anything. We may learn. Our kid will teach us. And also one point, I don't think my kid is smaller than me. He is my kid, like that. When Kamarajar is famous, when he is become the chief minister, but his mom in his childhood, he doesn't know, no, she doesn't know, no. So each and every parent think a leader or a god is with us, so we must respect that kid also. This makes us to respect their emotion, their work, and everything. This may make that child um, uh, what to say, emotionally intelligence and everything. This is my sharing. Actually, now I'm mom to 21 years boy. From the 7 years boy, we are practicing. Now he is helping me to plan everything. In the age of 10, we both planned our maliga list, what you say, grocery list. But now he planned and he said, you study, ma. He making time to me. Um, நான் அவனை பாத்துக்கிறது போய் அவன் என்ன பாத்துக்க தொடங்கிட்டான். He is becoming a very good friend for me. So this way I feel very successful. You say you are a 7-year kid, so you said I don't know good or bad, like that. But I feel this is very good plan, because 21 years a adult boy, he always the parent is parent. There is no other thing. But this is very successful. He become a very good adult now. He is a good person now. I'm proudly I can say he's my son, and he is taking care of me, and not only me, the family, the economical thing, and everything. Now I'm very happy to expect a girl for my family, so he will take care of that girl like anything. This is my
Yeah.
sharing, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That is really like it's really insightful and really beautiful, and I'm very happy that you have given a very like a very good citizen to the country also, because it is not emotion coaching is not only for us, like it is for the society. And what I would am I audible?
There was a break and it came back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because like I'm getting a call and that's why I'm sorry. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll sort it out. Give me a second. കുഞ്ഞുണ്ണി ഞാനൊരു മീറ്റിംഗിലാണ് വിളിക്കാം. ഞാനൊരു മീറ്റിംഗ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വിളിക്കാം. I'm very sorry. My niece was calling me. So yeah. It was very great. And what I would like to say that as I had a son, initially when I had a son, I was really sad. But now I feel that that was the biggest thing happened. That was a blissful thing because I can teach my son how to respect a woman, how to be respectful to women, and how to set boundaries. That is something great thing that I can teach my son. How to give freedom to a woman, how to value others' freedom. So when we like right now he is 7 years old, and we used to have small sex education talks in between us. So what I feel is that like if I am able to establish this connection with him right now, when he is in the adolescent, that is really crazy time. I do have a space, like he will have a space for me too, where I can connect with all the things. So when we are bringing up our children, we need to make sure that they develop as an individual with his own values. So whenever in small conversation, develop them the ability to be assertive, like to say no. When he says something, I go with that, I respect that. I ask him, why you said no? Okay, because I'm a very extrovert person and my son is not that extrovert. I won't force him to interact with everyone. I understand that he's introvert. I have heard people telling that we both talk so much, and our son won't come to anyone's house. He like to sit at their home. Then I ask them that he is an introvert. So it is not that forcing what we want on our children. That time what happens is that he loses his assertiveness. When he says no, it is a no. And he should understand that what is the boundary for that. So these all things, parenting is a real skill. Like we develop it, we evolve in that. There is nothing good or bad, I won't say that, but it is an art, it is a skill, and it can be taken as anything. But if we are able to make our children happy, that is the great thing. And happiness doesn't mean that they should not experience negative emotions. They should go through negative emotions. They should know how to regulate it also. Yeah, any suggestions about the session so that it can help me?
It was real good, and the flow was real good. The content was real good, and quoting Gottman and all was worthwhile. Even at this age, I had some new points from you, and your practical examples with regard to your son was really worthwhile. So overall, it's an excellent presentation. Adding on a little bit, you said when your son didn't do homework, you beat him up and then you told him sorry. I'm asking you, when there is your husband, why do you beat up your son?
What's that? Where is your husband?
Why do you beat up your son? You beat up your husband.
That's a great idea, which I can try also.
So he who can take it, beat him up. Don't beat up the child. The child cannot bear. Get it? The other one is my granddaughter. Whenever my daughter-in-law scolds my granddaughter, she immediately says, "Mommy, I love you, mommy." That's the best way to escape from your mommy when you say, "I love you, mommy cannot beat you anymore." That's one of the techniques. And the technique that I use as a child when I was using was I always smile. And my daddy and my uncle, they used to say, This fellow is always smiling. How can I beat him up? So the best escape route from my point of view is smile and nobody will beat you. And nobody can beat a smiling child. That's one of the techniques. And added to that, the way I was brought up was rise as well, be on your own. You fall down, you get up and you learn. My daddy totally let me go. So I was always a rebellious child. Even today, I'm a rebellious child. And I'm proud of it. I'm not changing.
Yeah, that's really great. Like
Overall, very
everyone,
good show.
yeah,
Thank you.
everyone.
I'm done.
Thank you for that. Okay, anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. I'm Anju S. Gadwal. I'm a principal of a special school. I wanted to ask you, ma'am, a very simple question. My daughter, she is 10 years old. And people have, these days, people have problem that kids are very blunt. They are very, they don't know how to express their emotions. But my concern is a little different. My elder daughter, she's very emotional. She actually takes everything on heart. If I have two daughters, one is 6.5, one is 10. So if I scold my little one, she's like, okay, Amma scolded me, I've forgotten. So she's very casual takes. But if I scold little one, just even if I'll say just why you have done this, that's it. She makes a sorry card. She try to prove that apologies and whatnot. Sometimes she makes sandwiches for me, just say sorry. But I want her to be more balanced with the emotions rather than just taking life too seriously. Because, you know, ma'am, world is very harsh. So I want to prepare her more emotionally. So please, can you help me how to do that?
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you because even I had a point in my mind that if I allow my son to cry, whether he's becoming weak, I had that in my mind. But I understood that strength is not that. Like because of you, like emotional, you told that your child is emotional. There are some, because there is a genetic structure for that plays an important role in our emotions. Some children are very emotional. We can't change them. We can only teach them that it is normal, like you're so emotional, and how to manage it without.
I keep telling her the problem is she's over emotional. She takes everything on her heart. So that is the biggest challenge has become for me, because I want to prepare her for the outside world also. So how to make her learn the balancing?
Now you can try this. You can validate your child's emotions that it's okay to be like that. Like it is nothing blaming. Like we can't tell that why are you becoming so emotional, because she is like that. It is not that she wanted to be. She is a very 10-year-old child. She is like that. The only
I
thing
agree, ma'am, because I'm also a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist. I do understand all these things. I don't want to change her, but I want to prepare her that this is your personality. Don't change yourself for world, but she needs to be prepared herself for the outside world. So where I'm lacking, ma'am, just can you please help me?
Okay, why I told to validate, because validate is the first step for anything. Like you need the children to feel accepted, because they don't want to feel that they are different from your other child. When you say that your child is very strong and this child is not that strong, there comes a way where their self-esteem goes down. That is why I told validation. I know that you know. That is where, because we are not here to make our children self-esteem low. Every children are the best in the way. The second thing that you can do is like you can read upon dialectical behavior therapy. There is a whole session of emotional balance, emotional strengthening. There is a whole session and whole part on that. And there are a lot of skills written in there that your daughter can try, like how to manage their emotions. There are a lot of ways that she can do, because we can't change her then genetic structure that is very strong. So what we can do is teaching her how to regulate their emotions. She can cry for for like a 5 or 10 minutes, and when deleted, then she has to come back. It is not that. That is the strength. That is the strength that she need to face the world. Getting hurt is like we can't do anything with that getting hurt, because that depends upon our genetic structure. A lot of things are there. So that is not. But how we are coming up, that is what you can teach your child. Ma'am, I think that dialectical behavior therapy, there is a whole session on emotion management, and it can really help there. That there also it says that acceptance, accept that it is normal, and then changing, becoming resilient. I
Thank you.
have I know a few techniques, I forgot about that because I'm not into that thing too much. But I remember that where they have various strategies, like various skills written, which can regulate their body. Because when it comes to emotion, it manifests in our body. It manifests in our thoughts. So we need to work on your thoughts. We need to it is a neural pathways that is formed, that is becoming stronger, and we need to repath it. So we need to work on her thoughts. We need to work on the situations. Maybe teaching her coping strategies ahead, what she can do. And
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
I
ma'am.
think that becoming more emotional is sometimes good also. When we have a very emotional person with us, they love us very much. And if my son was like that, I would encourage him, even though I'll teach him like what are the strategies that makes him to resilient, that develops the resilience, that can help him to come up. Maybe DBT would be helpful for you. Look into DBT, but tell her that that is the best thing in her. She
Yes,
is
ma'am.
very emotional, so she can understand others' emotions very well. She won't hurt
Thank you,
anyone.
ma'am. Actually, ma'am, I'm myself as an over emotional person. So maybe there's something in my heart that I got many times hurt. I don't want her to hurt. Probably I'm becoming more protective towards her. So I'm
Yeah.
not letting it be natural. This can be the tool. Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
it is. Yeah, this happens with emotional children because when others tell that why are you drama kid, why are you so emotional, why are you becoming like this? When they blame that it affects their self-esteem and they start thinking that I have some problem, others are normal and I have some problem. It's never like that. When that feeling comes, they can't come up. It really stops their growth. What I feel is that accept them and make them feel that that is a good thing, but you can work on it. It is not that you have to worry. Because when people say that I am hurt by someone else, I say that no one can hurt you unless you decide that you want to get hurt. It is our decision. So we can change that. Because I was a person who used to get hurt very easily, but now I decided that it is okay. I'll feel bad, but the next moment I come up. No one can take away my happiness from me unless I decide to give it to you. So just love your children. Like empathy and compassion can help her to boost her self-esteem. Then you can work on some emotional regulation skills, like willingness skills. There are a lot of skills, like willingly accepting the emotion and telling yourself, self-compassion. There are a lot more of techniques. DBT would be helpful, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a ton, ma'am. You've answered perfectly.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other suggestions? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other questions from
One more
participants?
suggestion to Sri Kuti could be, you are an extrovert given. Compared to you, your son may not be extrovert, but don't call him as introvert.
I don't know. Sorry.
No,
He has an
he may not
inclination.
be as extrovert as you, but not necessarily is an introvert.
Yeah, he
Maybe you
has
are
an
80 and he is 70. From your point of view, anything less than 80 is not okay, or not who I am. So that way, don't think your son could be an introvert. It takes time to understand.
It can be like, thank you, sir. It can be like he has an inclination towards introversion. It can inclination.
That
Maybe
doesn't
it can
matter.
be.
And one of the greatest introverts in the world, I'll tell you, everybody knows him. He's not an extrovert, totally a very shy, not opening person, and his name is Neil Armstrong.
Yeah. No, sir, I'm not.
Nobody knows him. Nobody knows anything about him. There are only two photos available, one with the hood on top, astronaut dress, one without the hood, nothing else. If Neil Armstrong were to come here and stand in front of you, you will not know, I will not know. Such a shy person, he will not talk to anybody.
Okay.
But nobody knows that he was an introvert. It's okay to be an introvert. Introvert is an introvert, that's okay.
No, sir, I'm not at all. Like, I want my son to be as what he is. I'm telling that I used to get people telling me that they are introvert, they are extrovert, and the child is introvert. But for my son, I make sure that a no is a no. I don't get into that bound. I know what he says because I want him to grow up as a person with very assertiveness. So if he tells me a no, I won't be. I ask him what is it. Then I told him, okay, got it. So I make sure I'm not like that. I want my son to be as what he is. I think.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's 6:05 and we value everyone's time. So let's wind up, ma'am, for today.
We are having 6:30, another session. So we can conclude. If no doubts are there, yeah.
Any other session by
Thank you,
6:30?
Yeah, one more meeting is there, sir. Same link.
Okay, yeah. How do I get
Yeah.
to know the details?
You
Is
can
it
ask Salim sir, sir.
okay? Yeah, sure, I'll ask.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Okay, sir. Yeah, art of parenting is a very complicated subject. Positive parenting is a need of the hour. You beautifully explained, ma'am. Day-to-day explanations. Then you shared parenting styles, then 5 rules, emotional components. It was a wonderful session. Kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai, then MS Chellamuthu Institute Madurai, Madras School of Social Work Chennai, Red Pond Educational Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, TNCCA and TNCPA, then STEPS Foundation. We thank you again. Participants, we will have another wonderful session tomorrow evening. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.